walk into the restaurant.
I grabbed a vase and I smashed it over the back of his
one
head.
of those girls on the poster.
Papa, did you enjoy the striptease?
He was a liar. He had lied to me about everything.
I think I became a lesbian that night, giving me a heart attack. And then he laughed.
The scream is powerful.
We're all gonna die. We're all going to die.
My daughters are giving birth to larvae, and it's my birthday.
I'm just gonna tell it like it is.
I didn't want to believe that he was having an affair or had somebody else or could be interested in somebody else, because when you love somebody so much, you don't want to think that way, and you'll do whatever it takes not to think that way.
He was a liar. He had lied to me about everything, hadn't given me the right name, hadn't given me the right school, hadn't had a twin brother, and on top of that, he couldn't even bowl.
Tell it like it is.
A few years ago, I was at a point in my life where I thought that I would not get married again. I had been married and now I'd been divorced for quite a while. That was okay, except that I really wanted children. I've always wanted children. And at my age, the chances of that were getting slimmer and slimmer. At that time, I was working as an event planner and fundraiser for a charity, and also worked part-time in a nightclub as a hostess in the VIP lounge. One night, this man came in, and I was introduced to him through a regular client. And I remember when I met Sushil that there was this very strong electricity, and because it was in a nightclub and we were talking very closely, and so his cheek was right next to me, and I could feel the electricity so strong that it almost hurt.
When I was a teenager, my girlfriend and I decided to go down to the neighborhood dance. We hadn't been down there before. After we were there for a while, I noticed this tall, dark, and handsome guy watching me, and sure enough, he came over and asked me to dance. At the end of the evening, he asked for my phone number, which was fine with me.
He called me later on that week and asked me out for dinner, and I wouldn't normally have gone, except that we had this really nice conversation on the phone, and I wasn't free for dinner. I had already made plans I was supposed to go to a meeting, but I did agree to meet him beforehand for drinks. And all the way there, I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? I don't want to get involved with anybody, and I'm just not into it right now. I'm at a good place right now. I just don't want to be involved with anybody. And I thought, it doesn't matter because I don't look good anyway. I look like crap today. My hair is crap. My outfit is crap. So it doesn't matter. When I walked in and saw him sitting there, I thought, oh my God, this man is gorgeous.
Nick was a really good-looking guy. He was different than most. He wore a sparkly shirt when most people were wearing just T-shirts. And he had a nice mustache and nice hair and beautiful teeth. And he was a great dancer. And he was a really good-looking guy. Like, I noticed a lot of girls were looking at him. He made quite an appearance. I guess he thought he was John Travolta or something.
And when I sat down, our conversation was very like we had always been together, except that he asked me all these questions. He wanted to know about my childhood. He wanted to know about my previous marriage and why that broke up. And I was very honest. I thought, you know what, I don't care. I don't care what he thinks. It doesn't matter because chances are I probably won't see this guy again. So who cares if he knows everything about me? I don't care. We ended up having dinner. I never went to the meeting. And we ended up going for after dinner drinks. He walked me to the car. He said goodnight and didn't try to kiss me or anything like that, which I thought was very sweet. We never stopped seeing each other since that date. Every time we were together, it was very special, and he was always very, very romantic in everything that he did. He remembered that I had told him that I loved picnics, and he had planned this picnic one day, and it rained. And we ended up having the picnic in his condo with the blanket, and he had flowers and the picnic basket and the whole works.
I was just kind of overwhelmed by the whole thing because, you know, first time being there and meeting a really good-looking guy like him, and his sparkly shirt really attracted me. And he actually wore it quite a bit, but it was new to me, so I liked it.
I always said to people that this is the man that I would love to be with the rest of my life. because he was so perfect, and we clicked. We really clicked. About a year into the relationship, maybe a year and a half into the relationship, we decided to take a trip together, and we went to Mexico. We went to this beach, and it was stunning, and it was isolated, and it was gorgeous, and it was a perfect day, and I thought for sure he was going to propose. And he didn't. And near the end of the holiday now, I'm getting very disappointed because he's not proposing and it's not happening. And we went to this very fancy restaurant for dinner, and we had dinner, and the proposal didn't happen. And then I talked to him about it, and I thought, I said to him, I thought that you were going to propose to this holiday. And he said to me, listen, if we're rushing to get married because of your age, so that we'd rush to have kids, that wouldn't be right. We have to be sure that our relationship is strong and that our foundation is strong before we decide to get married and have children. And that was that.
He was a little bit evasive. He didn't tell me much about himself. He did tell me he had a twin brother, but he basically never gave me his phone number or anything about him except the high school where he went, which I thought was a little odd, but, I was just a teenager, so what do I know? We did, the usual teenage things. We went bowling, and he wasn't much of a bowler. I think that kind of bothered him. But we decided to continue seeing each other, and we went to movies and back down to the dance. He hung around my house quite a bit. He met my mother and my brothers and sisters, and everything was fine, and, I was really happy with everything.
When we came home from Mexico shortly after, his younger brother announced his engagement to his girlfriend who he had been dating for a long, long time. When this wedding happened, the older brother, Santosh, proposed to his girlfriend, who happened to be my ex-roommate. Now, they had been dating a lot shorter time than Sushil and I, and so I was a little disappointed, I have to say. Happy for Franca and Santosh, but disappointed because I thought it should be me. So now 2 brothers are getting married within 6 months apart, and I'm thinking there is no chance of us getting married for a few years because 2 weddings in 1 year, 6 months apart, is too much to happen in a family. So now I'm thinking my chances of having children are getting slimmer and slimmer.
And one night, I hadn't heard from him for a while, and I was over at my high school, and all of a sudden I heard my name over the PA system, and it was my mother, and she said, I'm sorry to bother you, but I just got an emergency call from Nick's twin brother, and Nick had been in a fatal motorcycle accident on its way to Montreal.
Tell it like it is. Ooh.
After the call, I couldn't get home faster. I practically ran all the way. I just couldn't believe my eyes or my ears. And when I got to my home, my mother gave me more details, well, as much as she knew, and I was just devastated. I just cried and cried and cried.
I noticed that things started to change with Sushil. I felt that he was hiding things from me. People would call for him, and he would not take the call in the living room. He'd leave the room and go to another room to talk.
And the next morning when I got up, I decided to find out as much as I could about the funeral. So I called the high school where he went, and they never heard of him. So then I decided, maybe I got it wrong. I'd call all the high schools, and nobody heard of him.
He would tell me that he was coming home at a certain time, or he was just around the corner, and then not show up for hours later. We weren't having sex, and it was because he didn't want to have sex, and that was very unusual.
So I didn't know what to think. And my mother decided maybe we should call the police because they'd have more information on any accidents.
One time I was downtown with my partner, Sandra, and we were driving home, and I thought I saw his car on University Avenue, and when I approached him about it later, he said that it wasn't him and he wasn't downtown at all, although I was totally convinced it was him.
And they said there was no such accident, and they didn't know what we were talking about.
I kept denying the fact that he was doing all these things, and I think you do that. I think that when you love somebody so much, as I do Sushil, and you think that they're having an affair, you do everything in your power not to make it so in your mind. We had planned this trip for Mexico in January, and I held on to that because I knew that once I got him there that we would be alone. There wouldn't be a telephone, there wouldn't be TV. It would be just the 2 of us, and it would give us a chance to spend quality time together, and we also had planned this romantic evening. I was really looking forward to that. We were going to have a bubble bath and wine and intimacy. Anyway, he was supposed to be home at 5 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock he wasn't home. At 6 o'clock he wasn't home. At 7 o'clock he wasn't home, and not at 8. And now it's pushing 9 o'clock. I filled the bathtub, I put in the bubbles, I poured myself some wine, I put on some music, I lit the candles and sat in that bathtub alone. I tried over and over again to call him, and he wasn't responding his cell phone. At 9 o'clock, he walked in the door and he calls my name, and I can't even answer him because I'm absolutely sobbing.
And I just thought, you know, I'm missing the whole funeral. I'm missing everything. I couldn't send flowers, and I was just sick. I really was.
I said to him, "Where have you been?" And he said to me, "Oh, I was shopping." And I said, "Well, what were you doing there?" And he said, "Oh, I had to buy a bow tie because we had to go to this fancy do that his brother had organized. And he had to wear a tuxedo, and he needed to get a bow tie." And I said, "Well, 4 hours to buy a bow tie, that's a long time." And he said to me, "Well, you know, I had to speak to the guy for the tuxedos for Santosh's wedding, you know, next month, and they're trying to make a deal." And I said, "Well, why didn't you call me?" He said, "Oh, the cell phone wasn't getting any service." And I said to him, "You mean to tell me there's no public telephone in all the mall?" Like, he blew it.
I finally had to go back to school. I mean, I could only stay off so long. And a couple of weeks passed, and another friend of mine was down at the same dance, and she called me up and she said, "You're not going to believe this, but Nick's down here." And I said, "Are you sure it's Nick, not his twin brother?" And she said, "I heard somebody call him Nick, and he answered, so it's got to be him. I think you should come down and see for yourself."
I said to him, "I need to know if you're having an affair, if there's somebody else, even if you're thinking that you may be interested in somebody else. I need to know, and I need to know now because I don't want to live like this." And he says, "Oh, no." I said, "It's got nothing to do with anybody else, and I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I mean, it's just not going to work for tonight. I have to get to bed early because I have to play hockey with my brother Opie tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. And this is a man that doesn't get up early." And here he is. He's planning to get up early to be with his brother. And in my head, I thought, he was more focused on his brothers than he was on me that night. And that was that. I let it go.
So my friend and I quick got ready and we went down. And there he was, big as life with all his friends, laughing it up. I walked up to him and said, "Nick," just to make sure it wasn't his so-called twin brother. And he said, "Yeah."
So the next morning, Sushil's off bright and early in the morning to go play hockey, and I make an appointment to go see the hairdresser about getting my hair done for this formal event that we have to go to. I get home mid-afternoon, and I'm lying on the couch when Sushil walks in. And he said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Oh, I'm just very tired." And he said, "Oh, I'm tired too." I said, "Great. Maybe we could just stay home and have a nice romantic evening tonight." And he said, "Oh, no, we can't do that. Santosh bought the tickets for this event. We can't let him down. We have to go." We get dressed, and he puts on his tuxedo, and I put on my gown. When I come back up the stairs, I see candles lit in the living room with a bottle of champagne and champagne glasses in this little tiny blue box. And I said to him, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Oh, come on in the living room." I'm there, "What the hell are you doing?"
And I said, "I can't believe this, Nick. Like, why? I got the call about the accident. Like, what's going on?" And he said, "Oh, that was just a prank that we always pull on you Canadian girls." And I was so upset, I just slapped him across the face and left. I couldn't believe it.
He said, can you just please relax and listen to me?" And he proposes to me. And the first words I said to him are, "Did you talk to my father about this? Have you asked my father about this?" And he says, "No, should I have?"
About a year later, I was down at the bowling alley when I met another Greek boy. His name was also Nick. What a coincidence. And he had just finished bowling, and we hit it off right away, and we exchanged phone numbers. I was a little skeptical because I was a little nervous about Greek guys in general.
He said to me, do you like the ring? Do you like the ring? I designed it myself. Do you like it? Do you like it? And he was so concerned about the ring. And I said, yes, it's beautiful. But my head's like whirling with all this stuff that's happening because the night before I thought he was leaving me, and now he just proposed. I said to him, now can we stay home? Maybe we could stay home and have this romantic evening. And he said, oh, no. Don't you want to show off your ring to your sister-in-laws? And I said, all right. Yeah, I guess. All right. We get in the car, and on the way down, we're talking about how to plan the wedding, what kind of wedding we want. And he said to me, listen, do you want to get married in Mexico next week since we're going? And I said, oh, no, we have to plan that. We want our families to be there and our friends to be there, and that we would like to have different restaurants cater it, Indian, Italian, and wines from all over the world, and that we wanted it to be so informal and very party-like atmosphere.
But anyway, we started dating, and he was really nice, and he was a little bit older and a little better looking and everything, and he wasn't quite as evasive as Nick number one. So I thought, okay, I'd give him a chance. And we sat there for a while, and he went and bought me a Coke.
And we get there, and the cab driver went to the back entrance, which I thought was kind of weird. And as we walked in, I saw a guy that looked like my cousin's husband. And I thought, geez, that Patrick sure looks like Patrick. What would he be doing here? Well, maybe he could be invited to this event. Who knows? Or maybe there's somebody else having an event here. Who knows? When I turn the corner, I see a sea of faces. And there's a light on one face. And the only face that I could really focus on was my sister Angie, who lives in Vancouver. And I turned to Sushil, and everybody's looking at me. And I turned to Sushil, and I said to him, what's going on here? And he said, welcome to your wedding.
Tell it like it is.
And I went into this like total panic mode because I couldn't, like it didn't click. And this herd of people was coming at me, and everybody's very, very excited and laughing. And I just start screaming, and I hide behind this pole because I can't, in my head, fathom it all, and I'm thinking, okay, it's a party. What am I wearing? I've got my winter boots on. Are my nails done? Thank God my hair is done.
So I thought, okay, I'd give him a chance, and we went out and had a lot of fun. I should have learnt my lesson, but I guess I didn't. My girlfriend and I were down at the dance where the first Nick and I used to go.
My sisters and my closest friends, they take me to the back room, and as I'm walking there, people are giving me wine to drink and calm me down because I'm just so, I'm so nervous, like I am now even thinking about it. I was so overwhelmed. And I see people from out of town and all my close friends. I said, oh my God, am I getting married? Am I actually getting married tonight? They said, no, you can't get married tonight because Sushil couldn't find your divorce papers. This is your reception. You're actually getting married next week in Mexico, but this is your reception.
And a few months later, I hadn't heard from him in a while, and I kind of wondered what had happened. And his friends came up to me and said, did you hear about the car accident between Nick and his friend? And I said, no, I didn't hear about any car accident. Well, I didn't really believe a word they said because of the last prank. And I said to them, oh, come on, you've done this to me before, enough's enough. And they said, I don't know what you're talking about. So I filled them in, and they thought, oh, wow, I can't believe it. He said, well, we'll come by and pick up you and your girlfriend tomorrow and take you to the hospital if you don't believe us.
Now, he bought you a wedding dress, and you don't have to wear it if you don't want to, but he did buy you a wedding dress, and then I see it, and it is stunning. It is the most perfect wedding dress. And they said, no, you could save it for Mexico or not. And I said, no, I want to wear it, of course. And it fits like a glove. My father comes to get me at the door of this room, and he takes me to Sushil, and he hands me over to Sushil. The whole reception was exactly everything that we had ever talked about. There was wines from all over the world, and there was an Indian food station, an Italian food station, a seafood station. The atmosphere was this great party atmosphere. The flowers were perfect. Everything was just perfect.
And that's exactly what they did. They came and picked us up and took us up to Newmarket Hospital. And there was poor Nick in casts and tubes and everything. And he was in pretty bad shape, and his friend had just died. And he said, you are one cold-hearted bitch. I guess I didn't get a very good start with men.
When we had our first dance, he said to me, I hope that you're happy with this. And I said to him, how could any woman not be happy? This was the most perfect thing. It was making all the dreams come true. And he said to me, this is why I didn't want to have sex, was because I wanted to save it to be extra special for tonight. I laughed about it because I thought it was so cute. And all through the night, people were saying to me, oh, we'll be in Mexico with you next week, or we're coming to Mexico with you next week. And all of a sudden now there's 35 people coming to Mexico that are going to be at our wedding. And we did end up getting married on that beach where I thought he should have proposed to at the beginning. A year to the date of the anniversary of the surprise reception, I gave my husband as a gift a positive pregnancy test. And now we have a son. His name is Raja, and he's almost a year old.
You can say, beware of all men. You can say, beware of all people. Things may work out, things may not work out. But you got to take a chance. If you don't take a chance, you might as well just lay down and die. And that's what I've been doing my whole life, just taking chances, hoping that one of these times it's going to be worth it. And one of these times it's going to pan out for happiness.
See, when Tiger Woods won that time, he runs to his mother, and that's going to be Raja and me. See, that's what I want. Raja's going to beat Tiger Woods one day. Raja's the king. Lions are kings. The lion beats the tiger, right? I've got it all figured out.
I didn't really want to get revenge. No, I didn't. I'm not like that at all. You're not putting me on that one. Oh, sorry.